Welcome to another episode of the Bamateur Hour. I'm Bamateur John. In this episode, we will preview the huge Alabama game versus Vanderbilt as Vandy comes to Tuscaloosa this Saturday. I can't believe I'm saying this is a huge Alabama-Vandy game, but it is. Today is Thursday, October 2nd, 2025, in the year of our Lord. Thank you for tuning in. We now have over 4,700 subscribers to the YouTube channel and growing. We also have people access on the various other podcasts outlets such as Apple, Spotify, iHeart, RSS, and the like. Today, I'm joined by G Money and T-Pain. Guys, let's dig in here and let's do a little Vandy preview. All right, opening shots. G Money, thoughts about this Vandy game?
Opening shot would be, can we use the name Voldemort instead of actually the actual name of the quarterback for Vandy? It's the name that shall not be stated. I'm excited. I mean, I heard something that this is the first time we've met as both highly ranked teams since 1937. It probably should have excited my inquiry to go look up what happened in 1937, but I didn't. I was a little too busy today, but really excited about the game.
All right, T-Pain, opening thoughts.
Yeah, I'm just ready. After last year, that was a heartbreaker. And so I think our team will not be overlooking them. And I'm excited to get it on. I think we're better. They may be a little better. We're at home. I think we're going to get it.
Think about this, boys. Kalen DeBoer is undefeated at home. So let's keep that streak going. Let's keep that. While he's been in Alabama, he's undefeated at home. I like our home field advantage. Big game with high stakes for both teams. As both teams want to make the playoff, loser of this game is in a bad spot if they want to make the playoffs. So I mean, there's a lot at stake here. Granted, it'll be Vanderbilt's first loss, but it would be 2 losses for us and 1 loss in the SEC. So I mean, that is huge stakes. Who would ever think that about a Vandy game? That it's playoff hopes for both teams that they can legitimately make the playoffs. Crazy, crazy stuff. High-powered offenses for both teams. There's an argument that Vandy may have a better offense than Bama. I'm not buying that. I certainly think they have a better running game than we do. But let's think about that. Vandy has a balanced offense with a potent rushing attack and a great passing game led by the dual threat quarterback, the name that shall not be used, the guy that had to bring in his idol Johnny Football to sit on the sideline with him. I don't know whether he's going to sit over there and be the towel boy for him or what, but it's kind of crazy. Thoughts about having to face this. He's the best quarterback we've faced this year in terms of a dual threat, can do it through the air with his legs. He's better than the quarterback we faced last year. Thoughts about the name we shall not state.
I would want to remember, as we're talking about Vandy's offense tonight, and we're looking at statistics, and we're drilling down into their scheme, their OC, all of that. And they have very impressive stats. They got a very impressive offense. But there's 7 words I want us to remember tonight: Charleston, Virginia Tech, Georgia State, Utah State. So they have lit up nobody opponents in large measure. South Carolina, yeah, they're a legit opponent. They put 31 on them. Very impressive. As we've seen, South Carolina's not having the best year. So we'll find out. We'll find out.
T-Pain.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, they haven't played anybody, as Gary said. I mean, I know South Carolina's not no one, but their starting quarterback was injured, and so they haven't really done a whole lot. We know we're a proven commodity. We've beaten a good team on the road. I think Ty Simpson makes us much more dangerous than in a lot of ways than the team last year. I think Vanderbilt's better than last year, but I think we're better also, and we're at home. But yeah, that quarterback they have is good. And I think you're right. He's probably better than Florida State's quarterback all around, but they're very similar.
Can I do a quick poll?
Yeah.
Vandy, FSU, neutral site. Who wins that game?
Vandy,
Vandy.
FSU.
Vandy was close.
I would have thought FSU until I saw Virginia just run the ball down FSU's throat. And I'm not sure FSU could stop Vandy.
Okay. I think it would probably be even money. I think it'd be a really good matchup, but I wanted to see if anybody else had a strong opinion.
I mean, before I saw FSU go lose to Virginia, I would have thought FSU is a better team than Vanderbilt, but I was just shocked at the way FSU ran the ball effectively. So, couple of things to think about. These could be the two best quarterbacks in the SEC going head to head. You know, at the beginning, people were talking Arch. Now, I think Lenore Sellers is really good. They were talking Arch. They were talking Nussmeier. Mateer's hurt, so I'll put a caveat on Mateer. Jackson Arnold can't throw the ball. He's very inaccurate. And I think you can go through the list of, maybe Perbula, and we're going to find out the next week about how good he is when we have to go to Missouri. And that's the thing. We're getting ready to run a gauntlet of games. But I really do. I think these could be the two best quarterbacks in the SEC going head to head. And regardless of which team wins, which Bama's going to win, still could be the case. Is I think that I'm going to say his name. Diego could come in here and light it up and put up 41 points on us, and we win 45-41, something like that. So we're not going to stop them. Vanderbilt's going to put points on the board. He is our kryptonite. He's the dual threat, effective quarterback, can run, can throw. He's really tough. He's really crafty. I'm hoping that our defensive coordinator is learning and can shut him down more than I think we will, but I don't think they can shut us down. I'm kind of getting a little ahead of myself here. But, those are my thoughts. These may be the two best quarterbacks vying for all SEC first team going head to head. It's going to be quite a show.
You said Diego, so I almost pulled a Dan Rather and walked off the set, but I'm not going to do that.
No, please don't do that.
I'm not going to do that. But let's not forget about Trinidad Chambliss. I brought him up last time. With Lane as his coach at Ole Miss, I think he showed flashes in LSU. Like, that guy's like really good. But I agree, Ty and I'll say it, Diego are right up there at the top for sure, no doubt.
Yeah, I think so, John. I think Ty is my leader in the clubhouse right now as far as the best quarterback in the conference, and Diego's right in there, top three for sure.
So next point about Vanderbilt, as we've talked about Diego, is that ball control offense. They're going to eat clock. They love getting 3 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, and just moving and just wearing the defense out. And they did a great job of that last year. So we got to be very wary of this team that runs the triple option, does all sorts of stuff that we don't like, can throw the ball effectively. So we got to be very effective on third down and fourth down. And they're going to see them going for it on fourth down a lot, I think. So they're going to eat clock. Just as an overview on Vandy, underrated defense, but not elite. They don't have a great defense. I think we can light them up. They probably have better special teams in a kicking game than we do, but probably most teams we face are going to have a better kicking game than we do in terms of field goal kicking. DeBoer, undefeated at home. There's a lot on the line. And I don't know if you all know this fact or not, but Clark Lee went to my high school. He's a graduate of my high school and then went to Vanderbilt, and he's a Vanderbilt alum. And so I like Clark Lee a lot, as there's all those ties that I have to him. So I like that a lot. But I want Bama to beat Vandy. I'd pull for Vandy in any other game except for us. So I'm happy to see him having success. But just a little bit of trivia there, that he's a graduate of my high school and a proud graduate, and so that's a nugget there. All right, guys, what else? Thoughts?
Well, you mentioned the gauntlet of the schedule. So Vandy's next 4 opponents are Alabama, LSU, at Mizzou, at Texas. They've got a gauntlet. I mean, that's a serious gauntlet. So that, like you were saying, John, this this is a, college game day, big time pressure, who's going to have the edge kind of going to the playoffs, SEC championship, all those things are on the line. But then you look at the team's respective gauntlets that we're having to run through, and it makes even more pressure on both teams to get the W.
Big game.
Yeah, I think we're going to start a trend here this weekend. I think we're going to beat Vandy, and I'll get into more details later. But I think we're going to beat Vandy, and then I think we're going to show other teams how to do it, what the recipe is, and I think they're going to lose a few more games. And like you said, I mean, this is a playoff game for us for sure. For them, they can lose a couple of games and make it, but I mean, their schedule, I just don't think it's going to happen for them. But it's amazing that we're even talking about that. Two words in the same sentence, playoff and Vanderbilt. That's crazy.
Well, they shocked us last year. We had the big win over Georgia. And the funny thing about that Georgia last year is we had such a great first half, hung on, got the win. And they were just like, oh, now we get to go to Vandy. We get the week off, essentially. Those guys they know that they don't have the week off this week. They're taking them super seriously. They were humiliated. Johnny Football and the name we shall not say are talking all sorts of smack. There's got to be great bulletin board material. I mean, he is running his mouth. So he's a gamer. I will give him that. He's a gamer. But golly, if we can't get it together and be up for this game and play great, some things are going to have to be fixed and addressed that are still lingering out there. So there's those things to think about. But it is a huge game. It is a huge game.
Yeah.
Our guys have got to be up for it.
I would say that I'm very proud of our team this week. They have not taken the bait. So Diego Pavia, there, I got it out. He's been given all this bulletin board, and in the week leading up to FSU with Castellanos kind of saying all that stuff, we said, well, disrespect will be addressed on the field and all these things. We're just kind of laying low. We're staying in our lane, and I really like that as opposed to kind of our reaction to the FSU fight the week before that game.
It is payback, though, and they want that, and I think they made it clear that they want to win this game. So I like that they know this is a dogfight and that they got to be ready and they got to take it seriously. But to your point, Gary, they're not talking trash. They're not retaliating.
Think about this too, like you said, John. Last year, Vanderbilt had slight edge in the fact that they knew what we had, what we were bringing in. We really didn't know what they had. I think the unknown factor and we just beaten Georgia. So that kind of favored them. This year, they're a known commodity. We know what they can do. We've seen it. We felt it. The players all know what it feels like to lose to Vanderbilt. And so the unknown factor is gone. We know what they can do. Our coaches have had a year to prepare for them. I mean, I know they don't spend every day preparing for Vanderbilt, but in the offseason, they plan some for this. And this is Kane Womack's time to shine and show, hey, you know what? You got me once, but I prepared. We can stop this. And you're right. Time of possession last year was 42 minutes last year for Vanderbilt. That's crazy. And we had it 17 minutes. And last year, as you recall, we had 2 turnovers and we still lost by 5 points only. So I just think, things are a lot different this year in lots of ways.
And bad penalties.
Oh, man.
We had some critical penalty, like on that punt where we had 2 number 2s in.
Yes.
and it's like, really? If you're putting Ryan Williams in there, you don't realize that you've got 2 number 2s in there? How did you miss that? And we should have had the ball right there. And they went and scored on that possession. And it was just like, can we shoot ourselves in the foot so many ways?
Right.
And they got the pick 6 to go up 13-0. And it's like, so I love the fact that our quarterback and our team has not turned the ball over. And this is not a defense that we have to fear if we run our offense. They do run a 4-2-5 defense, which is interesting because theoretically that's what we run as well. We moved the ball effectively on them last year. When you look at the injury report, they have guys out. So on the defensive side, So I don't think they have the kind of depth that we do in terms of absorbing injuries. So it's going to be really, it's their good against our bad, and it's our good against their bad. And so hopefully we can our good can out good their good. Because really, we got to admit, our
Exactly.
I'm trying to follow you. No, I know what you
Yeah, do
mean.
you know that I know what you know that I know?
That's right. First, who's on first?
So I mean, think about it, their offense is really good, and
Right.
our rush defense has been it's our Achilles heel. So it's their good against our bad. Can we really step up and limit them? And if we load the box to limit the rush, can we be disciplined enough not to give them the shot plays over the top for big points? And then it is our good, our offense, our passing game, and their weakness is their passing defense. So that's what I meant by our good versus their bad, and their good versus our bad. And hopefully our good against their bad is more effective. And I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think the home field advantage means a lot. DeBoer seems to do really well at home. I'm hoping he can put together back-to-back road efforts as well when we go to Missouri the next week, but we'll worry about that next week. We got to get this W. But so, those are some things I was thinking about, is that they don't have an elite defense. And so we ought to be able to put points up. And I love the way we just pick them apart and keep moving. And Ty is very surgical. So maybe we can counteract their ball control offense with our ball control passing game to milk clock and keep our defense off the field. So, some things I was thinking about there. All right, other thoughts?
One of the metrics we used in Georgia in terms of our predictive model was comparing coaching and rosters, but rosters, I want to focus on that for a second. So let's say we've got an A+ roster in terms of our personnel, if we're at full strength with, no injuries or whatever. If you gave us an A+, sort of equivalent to Ohio State, maybe a couple other clubs, you'd have to give Georgia an A. We set a slight edge, and I think that's right. And I think we saw that on the field in Athens on Saturday night. Vandy doesn't have an A roster. They don't have an A- roster. They probably have a B+ roster, which for Vanderbilt is unbelievably good. Unbelievably good. They have some individual players, but our roster advantage, I think, it is going to really take it to them. I mean, you look at their defense, and I know we're going to talk about specifics, but just sort of a bird's eye view. Utah State scored 35 points on them. Georgia State scored 21 points on them. We're going to, like you're saying, John, we're going to be lighting them up on offense. And then the question is our defense.
Right. And in particular, our rush defense and our integrity and focus on assignment football when they're running all those, deceptive plays with all the options that they're running. Pavia and that dual threat quarterback, and he shredded us last year. So have we learned? Has Kane learned? Has Kane schemed them up? And we've got it. As Saban said, not that we've practiced how to do it once right, but we've practiced so we never do it wrong. And that's the thing Saban was so brilliant at, was getting people so they never did it wrong. And we haven't seen that yet. T-Pain, I know you had some comments.
No, I do think there's hope as far as Kane is concerned. I've seen him modifying a little bit against Wisconsin and Georgia. I saw more guys in the box. So I think I'm hopeful that he's ready to show that he's learned a lot, and he has the answer. Again, the answer to stopping them may still be they get 21 points. I don't know, but I think shutting them out is not realistic. But I do think we're going to have huge success when our offense has the ball. It's going to be up to Ryan Grubb if he wants to score quickly or have these 8-minute drives. But I think he'll have either option he wants. And then I think this environment is going to be the biggest environment that Vanderbilt teams played in on the road, at least in the recent past, because they've never been this good to warrant a game day atmosphere. So I just think the atmosphere is going to be amazing. I think they're going to be, maybe not Diego, but I think the team's going to feel a little bit overwhelmed by our offense. And also, I think our defense has gotten better, y'all. I mean, it's year number 2. I think the guys know what to do, know where to be. I think our secondary is really strong, and I think we have some guys who like to hit back there this year. I don't remember last year. Was Hubbard playing last year at this point, or did he come in later? in the
I think
season.
mid-season, because once he
Mid-season.
started getting that playing time, boy, he was
Yeah.
lighting people up. He played really well the last half of the season.
I just think Hubbard's going to be huge in this game, bringing the strong safety up to stop the run, help with the run. And I think Dre Kirkpatrick's going to be big in this game. He likes to hit too. I just think we're going to set the edge, hopefully better than we did last week. We got to learn. And yeah, I just think it all adds up to a big victory. And then people are going to be like, okay, Vanderbilt's not as good as we thought they were.
I'll say this though, Rick, the assignment that we have this week is harder than the assignment we have on defense last week. I mean, you've got Tim Becks, their offensive coordinator. He runs a multiple spread and he's got the guy at quarterback to run that offense. We're going to see a lot of multiples. We're going to see 3 and 4 wideouts. We're going to see RPOs all the time. You're going to see zone read plays. And Pavia is really good. Hey, tip your hat to him. And he's going to be able to execute. So to me, this is going to be probably more difficult than our not so great effort against FSU and Castellanos and Malzahn. This is going to be a really tall task. So I think really it's going to come down to, we're probably going to give up 27 points maybe, but I think we're going to score a lot more than that on offense.
Yeah, the question I have is, if we give up 27 points or so, hopefully they're not keeping the ball, 25, 30 minutes to do it. Or 40 minutes like they did last year. But if they do keep the ball 35 minutes or more, I mean, gosh, it could be a nail biter at the end of the night. But I'm just hopeful we can stop them maybe 1 or 2 possessions per half. That'd be the difference in the ball game.
No doubt, or hold them to field goals. If you have a bend but don't break mentality, it's a big win if they go down there and they drive and then we stop them at the 15 and force a field goal, then we take the ball and go down and get 7. So
Right.
even if we're not forcing punts, if we can make their drives end with field goals when we can't get them to punt, that's a huge victory. And that 2-minute drive we had at the end of the first half against Georgia gave me a lot of confidence. And also the way we ran out the clock at the end of that game, that when it gets tight and Ty's got to put points on the board, he can go down and get 7. And he can do it quickly if needed. And so I think we've got that advantage there, that we've got so many weapons that we can score when we need to. And I think we can outscore them. Like you said, we're not shutting them out. I'm not sure we can hold them under 30. I think this may be a 42-38 game or 42-35. I think it's going to be a high-scoring shootout, and I'd be surprised if it's not. I'd be surprised if it's 28-24. But, weird things happen when you line up and play football. But both teams have really powerful offenses. Both teams have issues on the defensive side. Couple things about Vanderbilt, just looking at their team stats. They're averaging 49 points a game. Now, granted, they haven't played high-level teams, but boy, they're putting it on the teams they're playing. They're number 18th in the country rushing yards, putting up 223 yards a game. If we can hold them under 175 yards rushing for the game, I'm going to be happy with that. I think it's likely that they're going to put 200 yards on us. The passing game's pretty effective as well. They're averaging 268 yards per game passing. I'm not as worried about, we're a pretty good passing defense. I'm not as worried about that as I am about them just shredding us, other than giving up those chunk plays where we blitz and hang out, because they have 3 good receivers. So they've got some good weapons, and they got 3 good running backs, which we'll get into the individual stats. We'll talk about that. They're converting third downs at a 61% rate. They're scoring 95% of the time when they get in the red zone, and 70% of the time they're putting the ball in for touchdowns instead of settling for field goals. And Pavia is completing 71% of his passes. Those are pretty impressive stats. Now, granted, they haven't played a Texas or an Ohio State or an LSU or somebody that's got a great defense. So we may be the best defense they'll have played all year, and that's not saying a lot, because I still don't think our defense is top half in the FCC. I hope it will be by the end of the season as it grows and matures. But it still may be the best defense they'll have faced so far. So, thoughts about that, just about their team stats.
Yeah, I think that third down conversion, I remember seeing that last year. I just felt like we couldn't get off the field, So their offense, as Gary said, has so many multiples that I think it's hard, man. You get in third and short, it's tough. Yeah, so that's scary, but hopefully we can hold them, like I said, 2 possessions, and then I think I'm okay with that. But yeah, it's scary looking, but again, it is based on who they played so far, which isn't a whole lot.
Yeah, and when you have that quarterback who's basically can be a running back, especially in short yardage situations when they're spread, that's tough. We talked about LT making that amazing play on that fourth down in the fourth quarter against Georgia. We're going to need some of our really, really top defensive players to make plays. Like last year, I think our leading tackler was Jihad Campbell. I mean, he's in the NFL right now. We're going to have some people step up. We're going to have some people take Diego Pavia down from 75% completion rate that he's hitting right now for the season, again against lesser teams, but still, we're going to have a really good effort on defense.
Hey, that rushing stat that you mentioned, Gary, Pavia has 294 yards rushing. The leading rusher on Alabama doesn't even have 100 yards for the season. And they've got 3 other backs that have over 100 yards each. Pavia, Cedric Alexander, and McKalen Young all have on over 200 yards rushing, and then they've got their third running back has 140 yards. So they're shredding people with their ground game, and that's been a weakness of our offense. I think our short passing game has taken up for that, and that's been the upside, but that's amazing. And Pavia will hold the ball, and then he'll pitch it, and then he'll go block.
That's right.
I mean,
there will be moments like last year, it was just so painful that game, but there will be moments Saturday where we're like, we really don't like you, Diego. I mean, it's going to happen, but I think we'll, at the end of the game, we'll be fine. But
And that assignment football, the swarm defense, the predicates, everybody swarms to the ball. Well, if you do that, then, you miss the trick and somebody's running wide open for a big chunk play, either on a pitch play or a keeper play, or, somebody's running wide open down the field and they hit them on a big chunk pass. So we've got to be really disciplined on each guy does his own assignment and doesn't swarm to the ball. You can't, it's the antithesis of what I understand the Kane Womack theory is on defense, so that swarm defense. You can't do that against this type thing. So, nervous.
That's the key adjustment. And Rick talked about this a little bit. It's you basically have to swarm, but not over pursue.
Yeah.
And that is, if you can do that, you're going to be playing in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about their defensive stats. Their scoring defense is only giving up 17 points a game, but they played some bad teams that they shut out and held to a few points. What is it? Utah State put up 35 on them. And their rushing defense, they're holding teams to under 100 yards a game, but their passing defense is giving up 200 yards a game. So I really think we can shred their passing defense. I think we can be very effective from that standpoint. And I'm going to be interested to see how well we can run the ball when we need to, because I still want us to be balanced in the run pass. I don't want us to abandon the run game. I love the mix we had against Georgia because I thought it forced Georgia to have to respect the run, and then we burned them at the end of the game when we needed some nice run plays. They do have 14 sacks on the season, and they forced 9 turnovers, which is much better than our defense has done. I don't think they have a great defense, but hats off to the sacks, the turnovers forced, and to their rush defense. Thoughts there, guys?
They got a good safety. CJ Howard's is a pretty legitimate player. He's leading the team with solo tackles with 18 this year. He's only a sophomore. And their DC, I wouldn't say he's some superstar. He's not at all, but he understands the game. He was an NFL safety, and he's kind of risen the ranks. Steve Gregory risen the ranks at Vandy and finally got appointed as defensive coordinator. You know, they did hold Charleston to 3 points. They held South Carolina to 7. I mean, those are sort of noteworthy stats for those particular games. But no, they're not stopping us.
Well, but with South Carolina, they knocked Sellers out of the game, and once
Yeah.
Sellers went out of the game, and I mean the injuries are part of the game. Hats off to them for getting on Sellers, but they just kind of went once Sellers went out of the game. Did you guys watch that game when he went out? You could just see the life get sucked out of that stadium because it was a close game, and then when he went out, Vanderbilt just took it to him. They just tore him up. So I felt bad for Lenore Sellers, but you know, hats off to Vandy going to South Carolina, getting the win. We need to go up there and get that same win. We need to go take care of business. I will say Clark Lee is a defensive coach. I don't know if you guys knew that he was I think he was DC at Notre Dame, or he's a position coach before he came to Vanderbilt. So he is a defensive coach. So I know he brought in the guy from New Mexico State who came with Diego Pavia as his OC because his strength was defense. So it's interesting that their defense is okay, not great, but that is Clark Lee's calling card is on the defensive side of the ball, kind of like DeBoer's is on the offensive side.
He looks like a linebacker, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Man.
He's
Well, it's been a few weeks, but can we remember what we did to Wisconsin's defense?
yes.
We had our way. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know that Vandy's defense, maybe it's marginally better than Wisconsin's defense, but only marginally. I think by and large, if we can avoid turnovers, we're in a position to have our way Saturday.
But let me ask you guys a little poll also. So I think you're right, Gary. I think their defense is nothing like Georgia's. But you know, Georgia's the weakest part of their defense was pass defense, just like Vanderbilt. And we had good success against Georgia. I mean, pretty good, at least the first half. So I think, like you said, we'll have great success against Vanderbilt. So my poll question is this: Does the OC, does Ryan Grubb this week, does he think, okay, I think we'll have a lot of success here, but I don't want to put that offense for Vanderbilt back on the field very often? I guess my question is, if we can score on an 8-minute drive, or we can score in 1 minute, is Ryan going to try to take 8 minutes to score, or is he going to just score fast? What do y'all think?
I think it'll be a mix. I think it'll be situational. You know, if we could do the Georgia model where you jump up real quick by a couple, preferably even 3 touchdowns, if we can manage to get a couple of stops, you know, then have some 8-minute drives, orchestrate some 8-minute drives. But I think early in the game, especially in the first half, I think there's going to be pressure to score because Pavia is so good at running the offense. I think we're going to have some shorter possessions first half, and he's going to draw up some play sequences that are getting our playmakers the ball in space. We need to have a nice game from Ryan. We talked last week about he's kind of come down a notch or two, maybe with the big drop, obviously in the Georgia game. You know, I'd like to see him really, really shine Saturday, and I think it's reasonably likely that he will.
Mm-hmm.
I think the nature of our offense is that we just methodically move the ball down the field. I just think that's what Ty's really good at. We don't have Milroe who can run at 60 yards, and Milroe loved to throw the deep ball, but Ty is so effective at the short intermediate passing game, and we've got so many weapons to do that. I just think the nature of it is our average scoring drive is going to be 3 to 7 minutes, and we just move the ball down and keep getting first downs and get in the red zone and punch it in. And, you know, granted, maybe there's a shot play and you can get Ryan Williams to, you know, do some great move, or we can hit some guy on a deep ball. But I just think that's been the nature of our offense. I think it was really encouraging to see that 2-minute drill. So when we've got a limited amount of time and need to go down and score on that winning drive, we can do that. But I just don't think that's the rhythm of our offense. So I think just the rhythm is our average scoring drive is going to be 4 to 7 minutes. And that's going to eat some clock, and I like that fact. that we're not going to score so fast. The defense is right back on the field again. I just don't think that's who this team is, but I think we can do a 2-minute offense and get a quick score when we need to. So that's my sense of it. We'll see what happens on Saturday when they have those opportunities, but that's my sense, is that just naturally we're going to eat clock when we score.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think as I think about my own question, when I think about the first 4 games, yeah, it's not, we don't just hit bombs, you know. I mean, that was kind of Milroe's strength. So I think they tried it more often. Ty's not looking to hit bombs, and we're hitting what we get, whatever the defense gives us. So I think you're right. I think if we can hold Vanderbilt first possession of theirs, and then we go do a methodical Alabama drive, that bodes well for the rest of the game, I think.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, in terms of the bombs, I've made this point, but we just mentioned Milroe. Milroe was drafted by the Seahawks not just because he has 4.3 speed. I mean, that was huge. The guy's got a cannon of an arm. He was pretty good at the deep ball. And Ty, his accuracy and decision making, getting through progressions and making those decisions very quickly. If I'm Vandy's DC and watching that tape from Georgia, I'm like, how do we defend this? He's owning the middle. When you've got 4 receivers who are in a 4-receiver set, each one of them has the athleticism and technique to create separation, and you got a quarterback that's mobile enough to make decisions very quickly and hit people. It's very difficult to defend. So, I mean, if I'm Steve Gregory, I'm like, golly, this is gonna, we've got a very tall task here, but you don't see the deep corners. You don't see the deep post routes very often because I don't really think that plays to Ty's strength. And also, our O-line looked really good against Georgia, but we've got these quick plays, that gimme offense where, we analogize that to Sarkisian in the last episode. That's hard to defend, and that plays to Ty's strengths.
And the running backs can catch out of the backfield too. And so who are you going to defend? I mean, he's going to get guys open, and he seems to be really good at finding the open guy and getting it to him and take the 3. And he doesn't take many negative plays. Ty really does it. It's amazing. No turnovers, rarely gets sacked, doesn't take negative plays. I wish once in a while he'd throw the ball away a little bit more when he's in trouble, but it's just like a ticky-tack thing because he's not taking safeties and bad sacks like Milroe did because he doesn't hold on to the ball too long. He lets it fly. So it's amazing that we've got that. So I love our offense. I think we're going to score. I think we can put points up if we just don't shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, we don't play behind the chains as much with Ty as we did with Milroe for sure. That's huge. And the ball keeps moving down the field. And I also think, as Gary, you said, we're so good at getting the ball out quickly that I think that's going to kind of, in a way, kind of make, I think as the season goes on, defenses are going to be hard pressed just to send everybody because they know the ball's coming out anyway. So they're going to play a little more conservative, I think, on rushing Ty because the ball comes out so quickly, which in turn, I think will lead to Ty having more time to throw deep if he needs to.
Or to audible into a running play and then get 3 to 5 yards on a running play. Because that was one of the biggest things I noticed in FSU is we ran the ball okay in that first drive and then we abandoned it. All of a sudden they scored and then it was just pass. And a lot of times they're playing a bend but don't break defense, and we could have handed the ball off for a 3 to 6 yard gain and kept the chains moving, and we're only down 7 to 10. I guess we got down 14 at one point, but when Grubb learned his lesson. He kept running the ball against Georgia, which I loved, and we needed it on that last drive, and he was effective on it, which was great. So I just think our offense is going to be tough to stop. And like you said, when they put a lot of guys back for pass defense, that just makes it easy to run it.
Well, I mean, look at our personnel, right? Let's say you do a one-back set with Kevin Riley, no tight ends, 4 wideouts. You got a guy who can catch a flare, and that guy can run. That little run he had on the left side against Georgia in the third quarter, you forget how fast he can be. And let's say you've got Ryan, Rico, Jeremy, and Isaiah or Lozier. Those are your 4 wideouts. I mean, come on, man. How do you defend that if you've got a quarterback who can make the correct decision and throw an accurate pass?
She can.
You can?
It's tough. It's tough.
Well, like, for instance, we all know going into this game, if we're Kane, we want to stop the run for Vanderbilt, right? We want to stop the run. And we feel like if we can do that, we've won the game. The flip side, if I'm there at BC, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do against Alabama. I'm like, do you put 8 men in the box? I don't think so. Ty's too good. Do you drop back a dime package and have 6 defensive backs? I don't think so. I mean, it'd be a nightmare to stop that offense.
Well, I will say this for Vanderbilt. If you look at the receivers they have, they've got 3 high-level SEC receivers. Their tight end, Eli Stowers, he's going to play in the NFL. He's going to get drafted. He burned us last year. He's got 22 receptions, over 300 yards. So, averaging, 70 yards per game, 2 TD passes. He's really, really good. He's like a receiver playing tight end. They can split him out. They can do a lot with him. And then Trey Richardson and Junior Sherrill are also all very high quality receivers. So they do have 3 quality receivers. And, we're going to have our hands full. Stowers could start for us. He's that good at tight end. I think he's better than Cuevas. And I love my cousin Caleb Edwards. I think Caleb is going to he's going to be the man. But I think Stowers. That's right. I think Stowers would start over both of them. And Sherrill and Richardson maybe wouldn't start here, but most SEC teams they would start. And they're legitimate. They're legitimate receivers. Richardson seems like he transferred in. No, it was one of them transferred in. Yeah, he's a JUCO transfer that they got who went to UCF and then came to Vanderbilt. So they're legitimate. So I agree. We have to stop their running game, but we still have to defend the pass. And that's why Pavia is so tough, because he can do both things.
I'll give you an analogy. So Stowers is like non-black, but he can catch.
Yeah.
I mean, he averaged 19 yards of reception as a tight end against us last year on 6 receptions, had 113 yards. That guy's a real player. I couldn't agree more with John. He's a weapon. We've got to pay attention. But no, I think our receiving core writ large is better than theirs. It's certainly deeper than theirs. But they've got, like you're saying, 2 or 3 weapons that can hurt us and did hurt us last year.
And they've got good running backs too. They're going to be tough to defend. They are going to score points. We've just got to outscore them, in my opinion. This is not going to be a defensive struggle. This is not going to be LSU beats Alabama 6-3 in the game of the century. If it's the game of the century, it's going to be 42-35 or 42-38. High scoring, not low scoring.
You know how, Gary, you said earlier, our roster is probably an A+, and theirs might be a B+, right? Theirs is significantly lower than ours. But when you don't know where to be, like last year, our defense looked lost. All of a sudden, their roster looks as good as ours. And so I'm hoping this year you can see we have better players, because when we know where to be, man, we have better athletes. We have better players. And I think we'll show that if Kane has them coached up and they know what gaps to be in. Because last year, man, they just looked lost several plays.
Yeah. And I think having James Smith having to sit for the first half based on that targeting, whatever, the targeting call at Georgia, that's not going to help us. But Edric Hill's playing well, and Keenan looked pretty good against Georgia. If we can get some pressure, the problem is you get a 350-pounder, it's hard to pressure Pavia because he's so elusive.
Yeah.
We'll have our hands full a little bit on defense for sure.
Well, guys just cannot, and all it takes is one guy not doing his job, and all of a sudden somebody's open and boom, and we're burned. So everybody has got to be focused every play because of all the eye candy, all the fakes. And let's face it, Pavia's really good. He's really good at manipulating those RPOs, running the triple options. He's accurate on his passing. And he sees the field well. Now, he's not that tall, so maybe we can get some hands up and distract his vision a little bit, but Sucker can play quarterback. He is a high – I'm not saying he's going to play in the NFL, but he certainly is a high-level college quarterback, very effective.
And we need the 12th man.
Yes.
Especially on 3rd and long. Our stadium needs to be so loud. I mean, we have the best fan base in the country. And when we're into it and we've got an exciting game and we've got a lot of vitriol, I think, as a fan base for Diego for what he did last year and the smack he's talking this week and bringing in Johnny Manziel and all that. That could be a factor. It really could. I think the hostility of Bryant Denny, Saban Field at Bryant Denny, could really be a factor Saturday.
Just like I said, DeBoer had to show me on the road. I believe in DeBoer at home. I really do believe that home field advantage works for him, and he's got the magic at home. And I know they're focused, so I'm fired up about that. All right, let's go into some factors, the matchups, and then we'll get to the predictions. All right, number one, Diego or Ty? Who's better? Who's got the matchup advantage? So Ty.
Ty.
I'm gonna call it a draw, guys. And I love Ty. Ty's my guy, but I really think it's pretty even there.
I think Diego's a system quarterback, and I think Ty's a better quarterback overall.
Well, I want Ty to show me that he's better than Diego, and they come out and beat him, 48-24, and Diego's humbled. I'd love to see that. But I believe in Ty, and I'm not saying I just think to me, it's even there. So.
I mean, you're asking, is Harry Potter or Voldemort better? We got to go Harry Potter, man. Come on.
You know who I'm pulling for. You know where my heart is.
Luke Skywalker.
I'm just trying to be as realistic as I can. I don't have my rose-colored glasses on. I have my little glasses to block the glare. So
if you have a T-shirt that says "Ty is my guy," you've got some rose-colored glasses on. I'm just saying.
He is my guy. I love Ty, but I really do. I think we're evenly matched there. I would not trade Ty for Diego. I don't want what comes with Diego and his two brothers and all that craziness. But anyway, all right. So here's the next thing. Can Kane's defense stop or limit the name we shall not mention, who may be the best dual threat quarterback in the SEC and do enough to allow Bama to beat Vandy?
Yes.
T-Pain's all over it. Yeah. I think it's going to come down to, I think they're going to get, I said 27 points, 28. You said 30. I mean, sort of in that. And I don't think I think they'll outscore Georgia.
Yes.
Against our defense. And I think it's going to come really down to our DBs and the ability to get a little bit of pressure, but play containment too. And then our DBs, Damani, okay, solid player. Xavier, I've got a little question mark. He's been out of position in some plays in some of the games we've had. And Brian Keon, maybe Dijon, somebody needs to step up and be sort of that fifth DB to make some plays on Saturday. And then I think if we hold them under 35, we win the game. And I think we will hold them under 35.
I'm going to say reluctantly, I'm still skeptical of Kane, but he's going to get it done. We're gonna outscore him. That's what I'm gonna say. We're gonna the Grubb and Ty and that offense. We're gonna outscore Vandy and get the win. Next question: Bama O-line versus the Vandy D-line. Who's got the advantage there?
Bama.
I think so too. I think that particularly in the passing game, we're going to be able to hold up in the pass protection and do what we need to do to let Ty run the offense and get what he needs to do. All right, next question. Vandy O-line versus the Bama D-line.
I'll say Bama, if we got an A+ roster and they have a B+ roster, a lot of these I'm going to be giving to Bama, but I think our D-lines, when James is in there for sure, is better than their offensive line.
So if I was choosing players like a draft, yeah, our D-line. Now, but as far as their scheme, their O-line, I think they might be better than our D-line in this game, just because they have 5 guys who all look kind of like tackles. I watched the video; they all kind of have skinny ankles and they move pretty good, but none of them are big guards. So I think they're really good at what they do. Now, I wouldn't take them over my guys in a draft, but in this scheme, I favor them.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think that their O-line is going to have the advantage versus our D-line. I still think we're going to win the game and we're going to do what we need to do, but I think that's going to be an area where, and that's why they're going to put up 28, 30, 35 points that I keep saying that Vandy's going to put points up, is I just don't think our D-line can impose its will on their offensive line and shut them down. It's can we limit them enough to win the game?
Can I
That's
give
my
you one
take.
counterpoint?
Yeah, please.
So we talked about earlier that, to play on Sundays and you're a defensive lineman, you got to be able to swarm without over pursuing. We got two guys who can do that. LT and Pierre, I think, can both do that. I think we're going to see some of that. They're watching tape too, right? They know what Pavia can do. They know his
Oh yeah.
ability. I think they're going to thread that needle on some critical plays to pressure him where, you slow him down and get him off his lane a little bit, where instead of running for 12 yards, he gets picked up by the linebacker at 3-yard line or whatever. So I think that's one of my justifications for saying that the RD line has a slight edge.
If you're right, then I think we may win by more than 3 to 7 points. If we can truly do that and impose some force on them and do that, we may. Because to me, that's the area where I think we're going to have the biggest struggle is our D line versus their offensive line, and some of it may be just scheme. Are we in the right schemes where we have the right numbers? Because, it's a numbers versus numbers thing. It's do your job, and it's numbers versus numbers and alignment, that if you have the right numbers, but you're shifted this way and they run the ball this way where they've got the number advantage to one. So it's all of that. So I just haven't seen that we've consistently been in the right schemes with the right numbers to impose our will on defense like we normally expect from a Saban defense. So I'm hoping you're right, Gary. I'm just skeptical, and I'm still show me on the defensive line. Show me that you can assert your will consistently. I don't know if you guys have watched much Ohio State, but that defense is impressive.
Very.
Lights out. And, Texas has got a great defense. Their offense is sputtering. I haven't seen that from our defense. I hope we get there. Because to me, that's the biggest thing is our defensive line not being able to impose its will enough to make us dominant. We got the win against Georgia. Hats off. But that area probably concerns me more than anything else. Okay, next question is the Vandy running game versus the Bama D.
Vandy running game.
Unfortunately, I agree with T-Pain.
Yeah, and I'm going to third that. But, Gary, if you're right that we can really tee off on their offensive line, we might be able to slow that running game down more than I think. But until they show me that, I'm going to have to give the Vandy running game the edge. Okay, so now Vandy passing game versus the Bama D.
Bama D.
Bama D.
All right, I'm gonna make it unanimous again. I like our pass defense. That's a strength, just our run defense. All right. Here's a big question: can Bama play assignment football and disciplined football enough and not give up big explosive plays on 3rd and 4th down that we're getting those stops that we need to win this game?
I would say, well, yes, enough to win this game. No, if you define it as can we hold them to 14 points, we're not holding them to 14 points. So,
yeah, I agree. I think we can do it enough to win.
I'll take a 1-point win. I want to win by more than that, but I'll take a 1-point win. I want to get this win, and I want to get it badly. 3rd and 4th down is going to be really interesting when we're on defense. And
Yes.
I hope Kane has them ready to go, has them prepped. I hope he's humbled himself to realize where his shortcomings are, fixes that stuff, and then coaches them up. So that's going to be really fascinating. All right, next question. Bama running game versus the Vandy D.
can we say a draw?
Yes, you can.
I'd say a draw. We
I think
just
we're gonna
not
put it on
impressed.
this weekend.
Our running game is unimpressive.
I like what I saw toward the end of the Georgia game. I think maybe we found a good combination on the line, and I'm going to take us over Vandy D in this one running game.
I'm going to go with Gary and call it a draw. But I don't
Y'all
think it's
lost.
going to hurt us. I don't think it's going to hurt us. Now, the next question, and I know what we're all going to say, but I'm going to ask the question anyway, right? Gary, you always ask a question and you know the answer to, isn't that right?
Right.
On cross-examination, yes.
Bama passing game versus the Vandy D.
Done. Bama.
Ty's my guy.
We're going to roll, baby. We're going to shred them. We're going to shred them with the short, the intermediate, might even hit one or two big plays. So I love that matchup. I think we're going to shred them, and we're just going to show them that we've got that down. We got that grub DeBoer offense down, and we're humming like a well-oiled machine. All right, how about the head coach matchup? Who's better?
DeBoer.
DeBoer.
You know, and I'm just gonna say, look what Clark Lee has done with a lesser roster. I'm really impressed with him. And I'm not saying I would take him over DeBoer, but Clark Lee's pretty impressive. He may be at Florida next year.
Well, that's like Phil Knight is impressive with Michael Jordan, rather. I mean, okay, so you've got this transcendental quarterback and some good weapons. Of course, he helped recruit, but you know what I'm saying? So, and plus you've already exposed your bias. So y'all went to high school together, all that stuff. I mean,
Exactly.
you can't be believed.
I want to put DeBoer over Clark Lee, but DeBoer's got to beat. He's got to beat Clark Lee.
AP
Just
Coach
do
of
it,
the Year
John.
2 years ago.
My answer may be different next year if we beat them 42-21. But right now, Clark Lee is 1-0 against Kalen DeBoer. So
You're going to give somebody the nod over the coach?
I'm not giving them the nod. I just think it might be really close.
Okay.
It might be. I just have a hard time. How about the OC? Who's better, Grubb or the guy from New Mexico State? What's his name?
His name is, I had it written down and we talked about him a little while ago. It's Tim Beck. Yeah.
Tim Beck, yeah. I say Grubb. I'm definitely a Grubb fan. Who's the better defensive coordinator?
Also.
Sorry, I had to laugh at that. Pass, yeah, pass on that one. And then special teams. Who has the better special teams?
Vandy,
yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, poise and penalties. Can we be poised and disciplined? Can we avoid the penalties? Or are we going to win or lose the penalty battle?
I give the nod to them based on history, but if last week was the only game I could have seen for this question, I would say Alabama, but given history, I would say Vandy.
I would give Bama the nod because I think the home field advantage and the crowd's going to help, maybe with some false starts here and there and reactions to things that look like PI from the crowd. Sometimes I can get that flag going a little bit. So I would give an advantage to Alabama.
I'm going to believe in the trend that we were good in terms of limited number of penalties and a little amount of yardage. So I'm going to say we've learned our lesson and we're more disciplined and we're going to be better than them on that. All right, what about in-game adjustments? Who do you trust more?
Toss up. I don't know.
Toss up. Yeah, I agree with T-Pain.
Okay. And finally, will Bama get redemption and revenge and beat Vandy? And you can take that and predict your winner and predict a score.
I'll go first. Bama wins this game 45-27.
Ooh, close.
Woo!
Close. That's close, Gary. You almost hit it right on the nail, buddy, on the head, but it's close.
But you're going to, right?
I am. Thank you. I have 44-28. I have it written down right here, Gary. So we're look at 44-28.
Okay.
I think we're right on it.
All right, I'm predicting a closer game. I'm predicting 42-38.
Dude,
I think it's going to be a high-scoring nail biter. And
if you have conviction in that, I can tell you how to make a lot of money. Go to FanDuel, place your bet on Bama.
What is Las Vegas? What are they saying about this game? The spread?
I think we're a 13-point favorite, aren't we? Let me
Last time I saw it was a little over 10.5, 11, 12, something.
Okay.
Yeah, we're definitely favored, but I'm predicting 42-30. We're going to win, but I think it's going to be close.
You like Clarkley, we get it.
No, I like their dual threat quarterback and his ability to flummox us, and I'm not confident that we've solved that riddle yet.
They walk down the same hallways, Gary, and now
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. Is that a ding? Is Clark texting you? John?
No, it's not. All right, guys, parting shots. Final thoughts.
let's go 4-1 on the way to Atlanta. We got them, y'all. We got them. They're not ready for this. I'm not giving them the street cred they want. Nope. This is Vandy. This is still Vandy. Roll Tide.
My parting shot is I predict Coach Saban will pick Alabama to win, and Coach Saban will be very correct this Saturday. It's going to be an amazing environment. Welcome, Black and Gold. You're about to see something.
About to find out. You better find out.
About to find it. That's right.
Yeah, baby. All right. Well, I think we're going to win, but I do think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I think there's going to be a lot of fireworks. As Lane Kiffin said, get your popcorn ready. I think we're in for that kind of game. But I love it. I don't want to be sweating this thing in the fourth quarter, and I hope I'm being more pessimistic than what happens. But I do think we get the win. All right, guys, thanks for being on here with me. Thank you all for listening. Subscribe, follow, like, hit the notify bell for the podcast wherever you stream us. God bless and roll tide.
Roll Tide.